Hi guys, I decided to do a random finger stick. This is the number. This is ridiculous. And the crazy thing about it is that I don't have any symptoms. I don't have any symptoms of having high blood sugars other than, I'm kind of thirsty, but that's normal for me. 455. This is really, really high. This is really high. It's a little after midnight, and I just decided I just wanted to monitor my blood sugars a little closer. And boy, I've been struggling with high blood sugars for a long time, for a couple of years now. My blood sugars have gone into a completely different phase, I guess you would say. Diabetes does not get better. It gets worse. And I've been a diabetic for over 30 years, starting with gestational diabetes, with my pregnancy, with my daughter, my only child. And that went away, but it came back 10 years later. And I've been monitoring myself by doing finger sticks. I have the continuous glucose monitor, which I was able to use during the time of my employment because I had very good insurance. So now, I thought I was going to be able to get the COBRA insurance, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the unemployment insurance that's going to help me with money, because with the COBRA, you still have to pay, and it's quite expensive. So I think I have to end up going with Medicaid. And I don't know if continuous glucose monitors, if that would be covered under that plan. But anyway, guys, I've been suffering with this diabetes thing. And I take 4 different medications. 4 different medications. And I don't know what the next step is. I really don't. I'm afraid that if my blood sugars continue to stay high like this, that, it's going to start to affect my kidneys. As you know, people who have out of control diabetes oftentimes end up needing dialysis. They go through kidney failure. It takes your kidneys a while to start to decline. But being a diabetic for so many years and having high blood sugars for the last, I would say, maybe 6 years, I've been noticing a dramatic change with my numbers and my A1C. It's very hard to get it under control. I'm very sensitive to carbs, very sensitive to sugar. Just about everything I eat seems to raise my blood sugars. From a slice of bread to even honey, a little bit of honey in my tea. So I'm becoming almost like a type 1. I have type 2 diabetes, which is supposed to be adult onset, but people are becoming type 2 diabetics younger and younger. Type 1 diabetes is a diabetes where it's oftentimes seen in little children. That's the first sign is when you're very, very young. It's something that you're born with. You have a problem with your pancreas. You cannot or you do not produce insulin at all. And you are very much dependent on insulin. Type 2 is a lot of times affected by lifestyle, your diet, your weight, genetics, and some people even believe environmental factors can play a part in becoming a diabetic. Diabetes runs in my family on both sides. My mother's mother had diabetes. I guess she had it for about the same amount of time I've had it, for about 30 years. And she died at a very young age. She died in her 60s. She lost a leg to diabetes. Then she had a stroke. That's usually what happens when they start chopping on your body, when they start amputating your body. You fall into stroke and then death. And that happened to my grandmother, my mother's mother. My father's mother had type 2 diabetes, and she lived to be a ripe old age of 95. Yeah, she ended up going into a nursing home at age 90. She was living on her own up until she was 90. She just started slowing down. She was taking care of herself. She had an aide that would come in and prepare meals for her and help her make sure she was taking her pills. She was, at that age, she was fully dependent on metformin. She wasn't taking insulin. And she ended up having a toenail fungus. Like a lot of elderly people when they get old, because of their nutrition and lack of vitamins and such, they start developing toenail fungus and stuff like that. And, with her diabetes and stuff. And so she developed on her big toe a toenail fungus. And my grandmother was a country woman. She was a wife of a farmer. She never complained about stuff like that. She wasn't vain about how her toes looked and stuff like that. She kept herself clean. She was a very clean woman. But she, never complained about the way her toe looked. It was my aunt, her daughter, who had a very good job. She was educated and everything. And she said, "Mama, what's wrong with your toe? We're going to have to take you to the podiatrist. They're going to have to do something about that." And at that time, my grandmother was, I think she was 87. And she ended up having that toenail removed. That was a big no-no. You're going to remove the toenail of an 80-plus-year-old diabetic elderly person? For what? There was really no reason for them to do that. Well, when they did that, it never healed. It never healed. That was the first time my grandmother ever complained about the way, she even had common sense, the way her foot looked, the way her toenail looked. Where they had removed the toenail, it remained a bright pink. It never healed. And of course, the toenail never grew back. And she started having problems after that. And she ended up, she ended up losing her foot. And from that day on, she just started going downhill. They put her in a nursing home, and you know how nursing homes can be. A lot of times they don't treat your loved ones like the way you would treat your loved one. They weren't checking on her regularly. They weren't walking her. I also believe they probably weren't giving her medications and that she became insulin dependent, where she was on insulin. And she lived to be 95. She lived at the nursing home for 5 years. So from 90 to 95. And she lived a good full life. She lived a very good life. People can survive. They can live a long time with diabetes, but you have to monitor yourself very closely. And I need to start doing some radical changes. Once I get this insurance, I'm going to look for an endocrinologist to find out exactly what is going on, what type of medication I really need to be on. Because I was not being seen by a MD. I was being seen by a physician assistant. That was the person who was treating me for my condition. And I was always left with a prescription full of new medications. Even though she was telling me, oh, I'm going to try to help you get off all of this medication where you're going to be down to at least 2. Well, I'm on 4 different medications. And sometimes I believe this medication is making me worse than better. I don't feel any better. And the numbers are not going down. My A1C is 13 right now. My A1C is very high. So, you guys, keep me in prayer over this. It's a struggle. Being a diabetic is not easy. It's a roller coaster, and it's a very expensive disease as well. All of my supplies are expensive, and for the continuous glucose monitor, that's very expensive. So I just wanted to keep you guys updated about what's going on with my blood sugars. Once again, I'm just requesting that people pray for me over my condition. Encourage me too. I would like to hear from you guys. I would like to hear your response. Is anybody else out there suffering with diabetes or living with diabetes? And how are you managing it? I want to hear from my viewers, okay? I love you guys and thank you. Have a blessed night. Bye-bye.